Hello everybody, Demon Red Mist here, and I'm going to try and do just a quick video, giving a few tips. So I'm about to yawn. Giving a few tips about driving the XANASSIN, as we call it, around Yamagiwa. Must admit, this track is up there as it's up there amongst my favourite tracks on the game. Okay, looking at the track map quickly, where the double lines go across the straight, that is the start finish line, and we are heading right across the screen to a long left-hander and then into fast S's. So that's the direction we're going. I'm quickly going to just sort of say that turn one, the long left-hander here, probably going to be fourth gear. The S's are absolutely flat out. The next long left-hander, fifth gear, maybe fourth gear, depending on the tyres, how the tyres hold up. Then we're flat out through the kink, down the hill towards the chicane. Now the chicane, at the moment I've been taking it third gear, but I've not done a lot of practice. I think it may be a fourth gear corner, but not if you brake late. If you brake late, you're on too much curbs. So once we're through the chicane, speeding up through it, by the way, flat out up the hill, kink right, into the hairpin, heavy braking zone, second gear. Careful on the exit for getting on the throttle too soon. Flat out down the hill, where the right-hander is, that's probably not going to be flat out. That's your braking zone for the left-hander. Tricky set of corners, probably third gear. And then final corner, that's going to be sort of teetering between second and third. But we'll see how we get on. Okay, so like I say, I'm not going to be doing, this isn't going to be a long video. The idea of this is for it to be quite a short one. Okay, now, for both of the long left-handers, yes, you do need to apply the brake a little bit. You could do it with no brakes, but it would mean lifting off very early. Whereas it's just as easy to do a simple dab of the brakes. The S's don't steer too much. So the long left-handers here, about 50 metres, dab of the brake, fifth gear, let it start tucking in, and then we can be on the power all the way around the corner. Flat out, as I said, through the kink, down the hill, brake about 100 for third gear at the moment. So I'm going to try braking a little bit before 100, see if I can do it in fourth gear. Flat out through the kink, brake just at the end of the R for a second gear, patient on the way out, and straighten up that steering. As I said, this kink is the braking zone, so try and get the steering straight as you brake before you turn left. And then brake in about 60 metres for the final corner. Second, third gear, probably second gear to be fair. Right, let's see where the braking point is for turn one. I mean, it is literally only a dab, so just after the R. About halfway around the corner, you should be able to go full throttle. If you're running wide, you need to go full throttle a little later. Don't be too aggressive on the steering here. It only needs tiny little bits of steering. Double brake at the 50 metres. Fifth gear. Okay, so I'm going to brake just before the 100 this time. Okay, comfortably through there in fourth gear. Did feel a little bit slow though, so maybe try doing that in third. Brake at the end of the R. Patient on the way in. Get off the steering before we really get on the throttle. Again, straighten the wheel here when you want to brake. I am braking a bit too much there, but it's just to emphasise about brake when the steering is straight. Get on the power too soon, run wide. So a little bit of caution around the hairpins. I got on the power much earlier, had to get off it so I didn't run wide. So flat out, but as I said, gentle on the steering. You can use these curves, just don't abuse them. Okay, about 50 metres, dab of the brakes. Down the gear, off all pedals until it's gripped up and turning in, and then we can go flat out. Okay, so we'll try just before 100. Got third gear, sliding a lot more in third, so fourth gear may be the better gear to go with. It may feel slow, but it could be faster. Brake at the end of the R. Yep, third gear through there. Now you'll use third gear there, so you can use third gear, but I did have to hold the throttle on a little bit just to keep the revs up. What I would say is around this track, do not be aggressive with your steering. If you're aggressive with your steering, the car's going to be all over the place. Gone down to fourth gear, don't need to, but it can help if you start running a little bit wide. Okay, that car time went into the chicane in third, came out in fourth, so that's doable. Just have to be careful of the upshifts on the curves. So I'm not actually having to use a lot of brakes in that chicane. I mean, to be honest, there's only, what, the hairpin, the last corner, and the chicane where you need to use a bit of brakes. The rest of it is tiny, tiny amounts. So there's nothing erratic going on, there's nothing too aggressive, there's nothing too eager on the throttle. Quite nice through there in fourth. So once I got the braking point sorted out for that corner, it made gear selection much easier. Ooh, dipped a wheel on the grass. I was looking at the sector times. Right, so anyway, there's a couple of laps of basically how to get around this track. It's not difficult, but there are other features to this circuit in that if you're on your own, drive it the way that I've just been showing. It is the faster way. You are going to have people trying to overtake up the inside here. It's risky to attempt it. It can be done, but if you're going to chuck it up the inside, you've got to be prepared for the fact that the faster line is on the outside and if you chuck it in late, they're going to turn in on you. Same here, if you decide to make that late move up the inside, you do make this corner much tighter for yourself, and you're going to have to be careful on the curb. So you've got to think twice really about whether you want to overtake into those fast corners. Or through the chicane, because if you take too much curb, she's going to spin you. I mean, one thing I would say is, please guys, don't mistake somebody taking the racing line as them leaving the door wide open or going deep into a corner. Okay, only going to do a couple more laps. So back to the normal sort of racing line, dab of brakes just after the R. About halfway around the corner, want to be full throttle, but as the tyres have worn, that may become a little more difficult to do. Also, just want to mention, be very careful about hitting this curve like that. It can send you airborne if you get it wrong. Dab a brake at the 50 for a 5th gear corner. Nice wide turn in to give you a nice late apex out the corner. Okay, 100 metres is the white line going across the grass, so brake before that. You can short shift up to 4th to kill any potential wheel spin. Brake at the end of the R. Okay, so the tyres are definitely suffering now, so even though I've got a much lighter fuel load, I haven't got the grip. But it doesn't mean I should try driving it that differently. The same processes should apply. So 4th gear for turn 1, turn in nice and late, weight on the throttle, and then full throttle, flat out through the S's. Make our way over to the right, dab a brake at the 50, down to 5th, off all pedals. As it's now gripping, we can go full throttle and make sure we're using all of the road. Over to the right to brake just before the 100. I'm going to go with 3rd gear, I think, on the way in, 4th gear on the way out. Flat out through the kink, brake at the end of the R. Patient, don't get on the throttle yet until we're on our way out to the corner and we can start coming off the steering. Flat out down the hill, straighten the wheel for braking. 3rd gear, and you can use the apex curb there. Brake about 60 metres for the final corner. 2nd gear. The later you get on the throttle there, the better it'll be actually, because once you get on it, you should be able to stay on it. Yeah, going in 3rd, coming out in 4th. I think I'm happiest with that through that chicane. Gonna take the defensive line. Oh, gotta wait before I can get on the power. Okay, I'm quickly going to do a lap of whether you're defending or overtaking, so being off the racing line if I can. It's not easy though around this circuit, because where you think you might be in a strong position when you're attacking or defending, you can actually not be. So as I mentioned already, turn one here, if you're on the inside line, the corner is a much tighter corner for you, and you've got to wait before you can get on the power to be able to leave space for your opponent. This is a kind of like you'll be on the line, off the line, on the line, off the line to be able to leave the space. Again, this corner, a bit like turn one, it'll have a pinch point, so you have to be very careful of that. You can come into this corner quite quick, but if you do, you've got to be careful on the exit of the corner. Okay, the chicane, tricky as hell. It is an overtaking spot, but you've got to put so much steering on to give room, and that then tightens up the third part of the corner that you could just simply get mugged. Into the hairpin, as I just showed, if you're defending or attacking up here, the corner is so tight. And then you have to be extremely careful on the throttle. Here though, if you're on the outside, you're in a danger zone because you've got to steer a lot and brake to keep a tight line through the next corner. That lots of steering with braking can cause you to go sideways, and in the final corner, up the inside, it's dirty, can cause you to go straight on. Okay. What I'm going to do now is basically just do an in-lap, get a brand new set of tyres and see what lap time I can do, and then that'll be done. So looking at the wear, you can definitely tell the right side is taking a bit more of punishment because of the long corners, but the tyre wear is not severe, to be fair. Oh, excuse me. And one thing I would say is I wouldn't take any liberties around this track during a race with the braking zones. You may feel that you can brake later and get around the corner. But the question is, are you getting around the whole of the corner faster, or are you just going in faster and coming out slower? Okay, let's go get a set of new boots. One thing I will say as well, when it comes to exiting the pits at this track, do not exit the pits and then just go straight over all the way to the right, to the racing line. If you do, that's dangerous. If there's cars coming, you should come out of the pits and stay on the left. If there's cars coming, let them go around you, or make them go around you, rather than you pulling onto the racing line and them then having to avoid you. And to be fair, if you are coming past the pit exit and a car's coming out of the pits, they don't have to get out of your way as long as they don't just come over to the racing line. So if they come out of the pits and stay left and go as fast as they can, yeah, it's up to you to go around the outside of them. Okay, so I'm going to try and attack here, but not by braking late, just by braking as little as I possibly can. On the power too soon. Had to hold it. That was a nice line through there. Ooh, you bastard. So I've managed to push throughout the whole of that lap, mainly by just not braking heavily, right? So I have literally braked at every point I've said you should brake, but I've braked a very, very small amount, apart from the hairpin and the final corner. So you can go round this track using very minimal braking. I even use very minimal braking through the downhill chicane. Oh, excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with me at the minute. I'm always knackered. So yeah, by not pushing and by not braking late and mistaking pushing for braking late, I'm able to brake a very small amount but carry a lot of speed through a corner while staying stable, and that's the key thing. If you're extremely hard on the brakes all the time and then are hard on the throttle, you're very unstable, and it can create a lot of problems. Anyway, there's a few tips for you. Good luck. I'll see you on track soon. Have a good one, guys. See you later.